the Andrea Bocelli Foundation has been tremendous in the cooperation with us. When we wanted to expand our impact overseas, we needed to partner with established organizations that have a proven track record of providing their resources to help communities. We are very excited to bring to you today members of that organization who will be able to share with us how Italy was impacted, how they responded to it, what they stand for, and what is to come next. I want to bring on Stefano Aversa, who is the chairman of the Andrea Bocelli Foundation, but also the global vice chair and the EMEA chair of AlixPartners. Stefano, good afternoon or good evening.
Good afternoon.
How are you?
It's actually evening here.
I can see that. You look very nice, sir. Thank you so much for taking the time to be with us. It's such an honor. I want to start by saying congratulations for the job you and your teams are doing. When we look at all the members and partners of ABF, we see that you guys have a lot going on beside ABF, but you still take the time to run such a robust organization. We would want today to kind of have like a quick 360 on your experience and then a global overview of COVID-19 impact on Italy, and talk about the response of ABF phase one. How did you guys attack it? What is it you guys have done? And I believe that after you, we're going to be honored to have Mrs. Bocelli.
Fantastic. Yeah, I'll obviously be extremely brief and synthetic. As a businessman and had to run a company, AlixPartners, I had to take care of our associates. So first of all, making sure that everybody was safe. But because what we do is a lot of crisis management, for us was crisis as usual. And therefore, as we took care of crises like General Motors, Kodak, Westinghouse, and several retailers, we look at our clients. In this case, globally, the sectors that have been most impacted, obviously, has been the sectors connected to travel, to tourism, to entertainment, which Andrea is one of the representatives. Just in Italy, to give you an idea, we have about 400,000 people that works in the entertainment business and around the cultural events and so on. So that's completely shut down. It's going to reopen something next week, but there are no concerts expected to happen until 2021. So the sector is really in trouble at the moment. But also for different reasons, the oil and gas industry, think about rent-a-car, hurts just filed for Chapter 11, and all rent-a-cars are in trouble. And think about cruises, think about all the business connected to services connected to tourism, directly or indirectly, event organizers. We had to cancel all our events or transform it into online event. So all the event organizers, hotels, etc., have been hit very hard. The good things about crisis is that they're all different, but they all end. They all end. And I expect this also will end soon in a progressive way. I do also expect a bit of a W crisis, meaning after the big V that we are already probably seeing the end of or close to the end of, we'll see smaller Vs. We'll be more prepared both from a health standpoint, from the organizational standpoint. But the problem is that the recovery is going to be relatively slow and not complete. To give you an idea, company like rent-a-cars do not expect to go back to something like 90% of today's volumes until summer 2022. So it's going to be a slow start. I do expect that we'll see it. September will be a bit of the time of truth. because we have to see if there has not been a resurgence of the virus, particularly talking about Europe, who entered into it a bit earlier than US. And at that point, I think people progressively will get back to their habits. Now, everybody talks about the new normal. I'm old enough to think that very often the new normal is very similar to the old normal. And the question that many businessmen have at the moment is this going to be a fire or a war? Because it's a fire, you ask for the firefighters. For if it's a war, you ask for the army. And I do think it's something in the middle. It's going to be kind of a wildfire like we have seen in Australia. But there is not a war. We're going to end up changing some habits for a while, but I do expect that we'll get back to our social, human, normal way of operating sometimes next year. So that's as a businessman. If I move to my other role, what I call my third ship, helping the Andrea Bocelli Foundation as a chairman, you heard a bit of a general view of the foundation. I will leave Veronica to talk about the foundation overall. She was the co-founder together with Maestro Bocelli in 2011. But maybe I will talk what we have been doing in the short time when we had to deal with the COVID. And we were working on Camerino, which is in the Central Italy, to rebuild a school of music, which was destroyed by the earthquake in 2016. We had to stop the construction of any other activity or essential activity in Italy. So we moved we thought of how we could help, exactly as you did. We started a campaign to raise funds, and we use our resources, including our relationship, our operational capabilities, to help the communities, the local communities of Central Italy, and to support the health system. So we have been able to buy millions of PPEs, protection system, from mask to protection, particularly for nurses and doctors in hospitals. We have been able to find and buy and install 4 respirators, pulmonary ventilators, and a new CT scan. We set up a specific hospital in the Central Italy near Camerino to treat COVID-19 patients. And we raised about 700,000 over a month, and in 20 days we built this ward. Now moving to the phase 2, we have been lucky enough to start a project to teach kids in hospital. Unfortunately, some of the kids are in hospital for more than a few days, and they lose a lot of chances to develop their own talent and progress in education. Now, according to UNESCO, 92% of students they have to share the PC with their 92% are now in distant learning. So basically the totality in the world. In Italy, 57% of the students have to share their PC with other family members, and about 12% do not have it at all. So it is important to provide them with resources. So we're doing 3 things. Creating a library of devices in some pilot schools where we are starting to operate. We are developing, we are in the final stage of developing an IT platform to access content, and we will be continuing to develop this content over the next few years. And finally, we create the role of a digital librarian, someone that in the school will be able to help the student to access and use these new tools. And we do expect, as part of the new normal, that we'll get into a hybrid education system for a while, and maybe in some case actually for good.
That's really impressive, Stefano. Before I let you go, I probably have one last question for you. You are a busy man, like you deal with the US, the Middle East, Europe. Why embarking yourself into a nonprofit? What motivated you? What brought you there? Do you even have time to do it?
I don't think it's a question of time. As I said, Bervann, it's very similar to what happened to you in life. It's about priorities. The time is finite. Priorities are set by you. And like most of us that have been lucky enough to achieve some results in life, to have financial independence, and I was lucky enough to meet Veronica, which you will see in a few seconds, in Davos in 2000, and I think was 5 years ago, 2015. And she approached me. She talked about ABF, how it could help, and since then I locked in, and it's been one of the greatest things of my life.
This is wonderful. Stefano, thank you so much. I know how busy you are. I appreciate that you taking the time to come over and share with us some insight. And we look forward for a prosperous cooperation with your organization.